San Diego, the birthplace of California, home to the Padres, if you like baseball. California's southernmost city, major point of tourism, San Diego, despite being well known, falls to the wayside. So in this video, we will answer the burning question: what's the deal with San Diego?
San Diego,
San Diego County,
in San Diego.
San Diego.
San Diego.
San Diego,
San Diego.
San Diego.
looking good, San Diego.
San Diego is a little major city, sitting just north of the border and south of Los Angeles. Maybe it's being only 1 or 2 hours away from LA that makes the city so special. After all, it's featured in many movies like Anchorman, Jurassic Park, a little cameo in South Park maybe, all sorts of movies and TV. Although I'm not exactly the expert on San Diego movies, but you know who is? Ken Kramer of KPBS's Ken Kramer's About San Diego. Take it away, Ken.
Question: what is the biggest movie about San Diego that you've probably never heard of? In it, the star of the film comes to San Diego and wants to get a hotel room.
Without reservations in San Diego?
Of course, there have been lots of old movies made in our county. Here's one of the first, 1898, a Thomas Edison film called Dogs Playing in the Surf. Part of Citizen Kane was shot in Balboa Park. Director Orson Welles wanted to show a Hearst Castle kind of place called Xanadu.
Xanadu is the costliest monument a man has built to himself.
But no, I mean a movie with the name San Diego right in the title. It was shown in theaters all across the country back in 1945, and the leading lady, Louise Albritton, was having a heck of a time trying to get into that hotel.
Well, why all the fuss? What does San Diego think it is? Washington, D.C.?
Lady, we pride ourselves on having more confusion per square inch in San Diego than Washington ever heard of.
He might have had a point there. Wartime San Diego was a really busy place. Some weekends saw 40,000 sailors off duty. Defense industry booming, people coming and going probably was confusing, but back to our movie. Eventually, our female star gets everything she wants, including the leading man.
Will you take me to the zoo? I've always wanted to see Balboa Park.
Today, there aren't many copies of the movie around, but 70-plus years ago, it had a name we were proud of.
Oh, San Diego, I love you.
That's the title, San Diego, I Love You. Film historians will say it was no box office blockbuster, and that's true. It was just a silly, corny, and kind of sweet romantic comedy about San Diego.
Thanks, Ken. But San Diego's setting doesn't really make it special. I mean, if setting made a place different from everywhere else, then Fargo, North Dakota would be a metropolis. No, it's got to be something else. Maybe somebody on the ground can help us.
Hi, my name is Cora Jane Augustin Serrano, and I've lived in San Diego for 62 years.
So what do you think of, when you think of San Diego, what do you think of?
In home is the number one thought, and only because I've lived here for so long. So home is the number one thought.
Yeah.
And that's primarily due to the relationships I have. And it's not even just the relationships that I have with people, oddly enough, and then I didn't even realize it unless I visited, actually when I visited Texas, it's the relationships I have with the environment, as even with the relationships I had with the streets, the signs, the street lights, even just the storefronts, and just the avenues and the trees and the roads, and just the relationships with just the way navigating, just how the roadways are designed, and just the freeways, everything, just the environment, and the people, the food, the relationships you have with the food, and so all of that, comprises of home and just the buildings and just familiarity. So San Diego, and when you think of San Diego, weather is not a factor. I don't ever think, oh, is it going to be cold? Is it going to be hot? That's not a forefront thing in my mind. I just think, oh, I don't even have to worry about what kind of really clothes I'm going to have to wear. So it's never a factor. I just think, oh, it's going to be
it's going to be a bright sunny day.
Yeah, and that's not one of those things, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to clean my window or anything like that. It just says, oh, maybe I might have to put on a sweater. Oh, shoot, it's kind of raining. That's not one of the things I first think about when I get out of the house. Until I open the door and I say, oh, shoot, it's raining. I better go back in. Well, it's not raining that bad. I don't really need to go to the umbrella. I'm just going to go to the car. So it's not something I have to think about.
Well, that was a lot. But very understandable. I mean, where you live, ultimately, will connect to what you think of the place. From every sign and lamppost to the big landmarks. But the real question is, out of those landmarks, what's the most important?
Probably Hotel del Coronado. That's really hard to pinpoint. Of course, you want to think about the standard San Diego Zoo, the SeaWorld, but, I would have to say iconically Hotel del Coronado. It's just such an iconic looking place, and it just kind of encompasses just, historically Hotel del and Coronado is just such a beautiful place.
As everyone knows, SoCal has a very relaxed party attitude. Maybe that attitude is what makes San Diego special, both for tourists and locals. Despite not exactly being a hotspot for tourism, there's many places that you can go to have a little bit of fun.
I can see my relatives out in San Pedro, Long Beach, Los Angeles. If I want to go to Hollywood and have a good time, I could go there. It's 2 hours. If I want to go to the beach, if I want to go to the mountains, I could have a little bit of both, although I don't really go out a lot outside. But it's just being able to know I have those options, that if I wanted to take, which you could take of those for granted. You don't realize that you take those for granted. So I want to go to the beach today. I want to go see the water. Oh, I can go to the mountains. It's having those options that you can go either or. Oh, I want to go out of the country and go to Mexico if you want to. It's just having those options where you don't have to travel that far. And that's what makes it special. I guess that's what makes San Diego special, is that within a 50-mile radius, you have options to explore whatever you feel like. So you can go out of the country, you can go to the mountains. It's almost kind of like a vacationing spot. You could have a little mini vacation within a 50-mile radius. That's perfect. Yeah. Actually, that's perfect. That's a perfect thing, is that you can have a little mini vacation within a 50-mile radius, depending on how you're feeling.
That's good, but it doesn't mean much to people in New York or Florida. But maybe that's the point. It doesn't matter what everyone else thinks, or what place it has in pop culture, or even what's in the city to begin with. What makes San Diego special relies on what it makes of itself. It's not bragging rights. It's not we're the first city in California, or we have the longest history, or our military base is one of the greatest in the country. No. It's what the locals make of it. From the first Native American settlements to the metropolis that it is today, San Diego is special because it is one thing. home.